Crochet was a staple craft for the boatwoman, who used it to create shawls, jumpers, blankets, and lace. The lace was used for everything: the bonnets, the horse, and perhaps most importantly, the back cabin. Lace can be crocheted in a variety of different yarn weights to achieve different effects, and in any colour the manufacturer can dream up. Plain white bonnets would often be the recipient of the brightest lace in red, blue or green, while in the back cabin of a narrowboat the usual colour was ivory or white. Lengths of lace are worked from side to side rather than top to bottom, and generally only use two types of stitch, the chain and the treble. Here our demonstrator is making the initial chain. The finished works may look impressive and daunting, but it is surprisingly simple to learn to make this type of lace, and there are some excellent books with guides and patterns that I'll put in the description of this video, should you be inspired to have a go yourself. You may have to do a little searching. Some of them are out of print. Flawless pale lace, trimming every surface, is an image taken for granted today, but it was incredibly labour-intensive to keep it and the rest of the cabin so spotless. The cabins have coal-burning ranges producing dust and ash, and the boats themselves were often carrying dirty cargo and were working incredibly long days. Anything between 10 and 15 hours was usual, so it was a mark of pride to keep your boat immaculate, demonstrating that you weren't the dirty bargee the public imagined, and competing against your fellow boaters for the smartest turnout. Inside the cabin, lace could be anywhere and everywhere. On the shelf edges, around the range, over the bed, inside the cupboards, trimming the curtains. In later days, with the advent of the motorboat, if the boat had a porthole in her cabin side, she would have a round piece of lace, akin to the table doily, held against the glass with wire. Making this demonstration meant the crocheter was in an awkward position so he could get the camera in place. But once you have the measure of the stitches and the pattern to work from, you can do this in whatever position you're comfortable in. The boatwomen would very often do this while they were steering, the tiller under their arm and their crochet in their hands. Historically speaking, the trend for lace probably came in fairly early in the Victorian era, when the fashion for table linen and pelmets started to notch up a gear. As time went on, the boaters became more isolated from the rest of society, and their own fashions emerged, crochet lace becoming an embedded feature of the boats. Dishcloth cotton was quite popular as a thread for cabin lace, presumably for its availability and for its durability when it got boiled to within an inch of its life during cleaning. The cotton being used here is a size 10 with a 1.5 mm hook. Pattern-wise, I misled you a little at the beginning of this video, I must confess. The boaters wouldn't have been using books like that. Many of the boatwomen were illiterate, and they would have learned patterns from each other and by copying sample pieces, passed from boat to boat. I just really wanted to show off my granny's book, and now seemed as good a time as any. When it was complete, lace would be boiled and pressed, sometimes with a flat iron heated up on the range, and sometimes by simple means of sticking it under the mattress. It could then be pinned into position, or have the equivalent of a curtain wire threaded through the flat edge at the top. The collection you see here is a mixture of antiques and pieces only recently made, but they're all genuine lace, brought out for this video from a range of old boats. We'll be looking at more aspects of life in a back cabin, and of the boatwomen's crafts that furnished it, this week in other videos, so pop back to us in the evenings after you've taken advantage of the other wonderful events organised for this year's Heritage Open Days. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you've enjoyed it.